This is Coogan Cassius for Sugar Hut TV with iFilm London. We are at the Sugar Hut. With me, I have got the owner of the Sugar Hut, Micky Norcross, who is now going to explain to us about Sugar Hut TV and the link up with iFilm London and what it's all about. Over to you, Michael.
There's a lot of Sugar Huts in there, wasn't there? It's a bit of a tongue twister at times. Yeah, I'm Michael Norcross, chairman of the Sugar Hut group of companies. I'm sure you've all seen me before. Yeah, Sugar Hut TV was something that Coog and I got together with. He was obviously covering us with iFilm London, but because it's predominantly a sporting channel, it probably made sense that we make our own channel, whereby we can catch celebrities and customers doing what they do in and around this business, because I think if we'd have caught on camera what we've had over the last 2 years in this business, it'll be fantastic TV for people to watch, and you know, something to aspire to want to come out maybe to the venue or to be part of something that we're involved with. So Sugar Hut TV is hopefully going to catch a lot of that. It's going to you know, it's film, as I say, the people in the business, the people that support the business, i.e. the customers, and it's going to drop back from there hopefully and cover some of what my family do, and what they do also. You know, going out from Sugar Hut, because it's not just Sugar Hut we're involved with all sorts. But yeah, so that's the plan, is that we'll split. Coop carries on with his sporting stuff, and Sugar Hut TV take over, and they do all the other stuff.
Obviously, your long-time association with the hit reality series, The Only Way Is Essex, come to an end recently. Do you want to just talk to us a little bit about what made you come to that decision? Because obviously it was good for you, it was good for your business, for you to be on the show. Now you're not on the show. Talk to me a little bit about that, Mick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to criticise Towie in any way, shape or form, because we had a good run there. It was basically when Towie started, Kirk was involved in Series 1. I could have been involved from Series 1, but I took the decision to step back for a series just to see how it was, and how they would portray the people of Essex and the businesses in Essex, of which I was quite pleased to see. And then in Series 2 I joined Towie. They were happy to film in the Sugar Hut with what actually happens in Sugar Hut, you know, people enjoying themselves and popping champagne and what have you. But as the series went on and on and on, it started to concern me that there was just not enough of really what Sugar Hut's about being portrayed on TV. Lots of arguments, and I just thought it was time really for us to call it a day. I didn't want it to reflect badly on the business, that, you know, the only thing that people see is a row in Sugar Hut. So yeah, we thank them for all that we've had and done with them, and who knows, you know, might come back in the future, but at the moment we're out of it, and yeah, onto other things hopefully.
When the programme first started, probably 2 years ago now, no one really understood when they first watched the first episode the concept of it. It was quite a new, raw concept of this docu-soap, they called it. It's been received quite well. The show from day one hasn't hit the heights it did in the first sort of few months. You had the big characters, the Amy Charles, Mark Wrights, etc., etc. Compare that to now with the sort of characters you have in it. Obviously, take you out of the equation, Mick. But how is Towie different from back then?
Yeah, I think definitely they so you call it, I forgot what you called it, but I call it dramality. That's the genre that we call it, you know, which is drama and reality, a combination of both. I think they spent quite a bit of time on finding the characters for the show, and that was evident in the first few series. But then moving on from that, where they lost the big characters, which was inevitable, they were going to do that, but to other things, that I think the characters slightly weakened. If I'm not being critical of the characters, but the strength of character weakened. But by this time, this Towie train was rolling, and I don't think the producers had a lot of choice or a lot of time. You know, that it was being commissioned, and they've got so many programs to make, and they're grabbing out of people, and they've got to get them and bring them in. But at one time, it was about the people that were living the life and the lifestyle, and I don't think that the current crew are of that ilk, if I'm honest.
It's been suggested also in the media that the people within the show, to want of a better word, forced into situations, relationships, etc., that that for the sake of airtime. What can you say about this?
I mean, I think that is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the whole thing is set up, but there are. You're faced with 10 people and 3 cameras in your face every time you do a scene. So, there's obviously an element of setting up, but there would be a time where you would hold back on something you were going to say or going to do, and then try and get that on screen, because it was great. It was real, and I think the longer it went on, certain people got wise to that, and knowing that if I do this or if I do that, I'm going to get the airtime, or we're going to get bigger screen time, etc., etc. And so I suppose it does force an unnatural situation, and people do strange things. I'm not going to pick out one in person or one scene, but it clearly goes on, and it's very evident now. You've only got to read in the mags, it's being slated, unfortunately.
The Sugar Hut become the focal night spot, if you like, of the whole series. It was the one venue that was constantly associated with the programme, which obviously benefited you. You had people from abroad, up north, wherever, coming down to your club off the back of that. Now you're not in it, and I don't quite know the situation with Kirk. How is this going to affect Sugar Hut as a business?
Yeah, well, first of all, the Kirk situation, just to clear that one up, Kirk has also departed from the show for his own reasons. But yeah, every weekend, every night that the club is open, there are people that visit here from anywhere across the country, even as far as Europe, but even further than that, in fact. But there isn't a weekend goes by where there's somebody hasn't jumped onto an aeroplane, whether it be from Ireland, Wales, Scotland, whatever it might have been, to fly here to come to Sugar Hut, which makes me really proud. But I think we've established ourselves now as a destination venue, a venue where people mark as somewhere they want to go and visit. It's on their to-do list, and we benefit from that. And I don't think that will go away in the near future. Hopefully it won't go away in the near future. So, fingers crossed that will continue.
Moving forward now, obviously, Sugar Hut's a worldwide brand now, and what are your plans to keep that brand in the same mould constantly, within the public eye, because it's a place that has been associated in the public eye. Everyone I speak to obviously know that we're up and down the country for various things, and wherever they've heard of in Essex, it is the Sugar Hut. So what are you going to be doing to keep that name flowing, if you like?
Yeah, just onto that one. Yeah, I mean, I'm proud to hear that, because you do feed that back to me when you're doing your work up and down the country, that everyone knows what the Sugar Hut is. So very, very proud that it's become a household name, and to keep that name there, we're in talks with other TV companies at the moment, other production companies, various companies, to do different types of TV. We're not here to roll out another Towie. That's far from where we need to be, but. I want to get as much airtime as we can for the business and the family and everything around it. But really, just keep attracting the right people into the venue, which should hopefully keep the name right. We are looking for other venues at the moment. Obviously, you know about the hotel. We've spoke about it many times. That should kick off in the next month or so. We've got a venue in Birmingham that we're looking at, probably for a coffee shop, stroke bar. And we've still got another London venue that we're in negotiations with. So, to keep the name out there, we're looking at opening up and possibly franchising as well. So hopefully that will keep the name Sugar Hut in people's in mind.
So is there plans to continue some sort of TV-based thing relating to your other businesses?
Yeah, I mean that's not something that I've pursued, but I've been pursued by production companies that are happy to put something together and to offer it to TV companies. So yeah, I'm going along that road at the moment. It was never my intention to put this brand on TV and keep it on TV and keep going. The Only Way Is Essex came up, and it was. I just didn't expect it to turn out the way it did. Now we're in that mould, it's nice to think you've still got the opportunities to keep going. So yeah, that's our intention, to show this and our other businesses and the other things that we do, and our home life as well.
Obviously we touched on what we do in the Sugar Hut TV. I mean, from our point of view, like I've explained to you before, and this is what resulted into me and you doing this, is a lot of content that we have on iFilm London, the majority of it is boxing related. So we get that crossover feed of hardcore boxing fans following a channel, and then suddenly seeing people from Towie maybe being interviewed, and it's not their cup of tea, which I can understand, because if you're watching a specific channel or even on the telly and something like reality, because reality TV is very hit and miss with people, isn't it? It's for some people and it's not for others. So our idea was always to separate the content, and I think with Sugar Hut TV, where we don't have to stick to just the Sugar Hut, we can take this to film premieres and things like the Duke of Essex polo. It makes sense on our behalf to separate that content so people that follow that, whether it's on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, they know what they're getting basically.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a wise move to separate it, because certainly you don't want to alienate any of your followers on your sports channel that you already have. When people look at it and then they download and then they start watching and it ends up being a reality show person or whatever on there, I can sympathise with a person if they're an avid sports fan. I mean, Christ, what have I just done that for? Wasted time, unfollow or delete or whatever, and you don't want to do that. So by seeing the different logo, it's going to give people a clear indication of what it is they're possibly going to be watching. Back to the Duke of Essex polo. I don't know if you know this one now, but it's actually going to move to Chelmsford this year. It's actually going to go to the V Festival ground, Gaines Park there. Is it Gaines Park, is it called? The V Festival?
Is it not Highland Park? Sorry.
It was at Gaines something before. Anyway, Highlands Park, so it's a new venue. Not sure whether it's called Duke of Essex Polo anymore, but yeah, they're the sort of events, the red carpets, the ascots, the polo, that we'd like to take Sugar Hut TV to. Seeing us, the honeys, the people that surround us, the people that work for us, work with us, and the family, and maybe our interaction as friends and business colleagues going forward. Who knows what's around the corner? This is real life that we are here. We're not acting anything out here. It's real life. So if the camera's there, you never know what you're going to catch.
Going back to Towie, why, in your opinion, would someone not like Towie? Because Towie gets, I wouldn't say equal amount of haters as like, but it does get a bit of negative feedback and a bit of hate. Why would someone dislike Towie? What is the elements in that programme or that style of programme to make people, think, I can't watch that?
It's a difficult one, really. You're asking me really to get into other people's minds and judge what they say. I'll give you an example. You get a picture taken and it goes onto the Mail online, and then you read the comments that follow it. I never read them anymore. And out of it depends on who the article is, but out of the comments they print, probably 90% are bad, negative comments. People don't never say the good stuff; they only want to say the bad stuff. And I think people just like to criticise. Why does Towie get a lot of criticism? Maybe sometimes some of the cast members don't do themselves any favours by airing it out there. Well, they'll probably argue back to me that, well, this is reality, this is what we're doing, but maybe it's not quite reality. And I think that's probably wearing a little thin now, and probably that's where the dislikes coming from. Certainly I've seen the trend of dislikes growing from what it was, which is not, it's uncomfortable to see that, really. But who knows, they might turn it around, it might come back and be positive.
Sorry, have you left it with obviously the producers of Towie? Is it been left on a decent level where if there was an opening for you and Kirk to return, or if you cut ties with them, how's it working?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I never burn a bridge. I've got that philosophy in life. Never burn a bridge. I think it's fairly well documented that we're not needed anymore for this series, which is nearly completed now anyway. But who knows? You get a whole new team when you start another series. They might make certain promises that you might want to be involved again. But for me, at the moment, the start of this series, I had to talk to the producers and say, look, if we continue to show the business in a negative light, and the arguments that are within this business, not within it, but that you're putting within it, then I'm going to have to call it a day. And unfortunately, they screened those arguments, so I called it a day. In a nice way. I was very polite about it. I wrote a letter and thank you very much for the time that I've had. But it's now time to not be involved with the current show. Yeah, so who knows what's around the corner.
With regards to the Sugar Hut honeys, because they've been at the centre of a lot of what you're talking about, especially the two twin sisters when they come into it, and etc. What sort of feedback have you had from the Sugar Hut honeys? Because obviously I know the girls now, so I'm not going to comment on it because it's coming from a biased way. I like the girls, and I know exactly what the plan for the Sugar Hut honeys were, and it was to simply promote your businesses. But what sort of feedback have you had about the honeys?
Yeah, I mean, just to go on to that point, you was from the start. I remember you filming the auditions, and then when the honeys actually got their title as a Sugar Hut Honey, the 12 girls that we picked, which I was very proud of the girls that we picked and the way they conducted themselves and how they conduct themselves today. Unfortunately, when we got involved with Towie, they had a different concept, so they had a different thought process about the honeys, who they were and what they were. And I think it was for them they thought it was good to show them in bikinis and strutting their stuff around the club. Well, apart from that launch night, you've been here many times, you don't see them in bikinis, they're glamorously dressed, and so people have the wrong impression of the honeys because of what TV's portrayed them as, which for me is a bit of a sore point, because I've invested a lot of time and money into the honeys and the brand, and yes, they are ambassadors for the business. They're just here to fly the flag, and I've got to try and pull that back now to reality and what it actually is.
And obviously you were being labelled as some sort of UK version of Hugh Hefner. You're not as old as Hugh Hefner. I think you're a couple of years younger actually, Mick, than Hugh Hefner, but what do you say to them? Because I know you had it a little bit, and so what was your response to that?
Yeah, I did have that, but Playboy is a fantastic brand. It's a world-renowned brand. They're very successful, and if I can be likened to that, then I suppose I've got to be proud of that. There is similarities in terms of there's a guy and a load of girls that don't live at his house, but they're around my home, they're around my business, they do what they do, but I've got to emphasise there is no sleaze attached to what we do. This business, the girls do what they do, I do what I do. Other people may look at it in a different way and decide this is going on or that's going on, but it's not. None of that goes on. These girls are strictly here to do a job for the brand, to fly the flag for Sugar Hut, and to make sure the customers are looked after. Many businesses like ours use promotional girls in all different ways. In fact, a lot of them import promotional girls to do work. These are our in-house promotional girls. And that brand is strong, and it's going to grow, and hopefully I'll get the opportunity to show them on TV in the real light as to who they really are, away from bikinis and any sleaze or any drama they might get involved with. These girls clearly had a past with some of the other characters, and whether it got blown out of all proportion, I don't really know, because I wasn't there at the time what they're talking about. But yeah, we have had a couple of run-ins with the girls and some cast members, which I think has been good for the show. But of course, you get the cast members that have got a great following, and when somebody new comes into the show that haven't got a following at all, i.e. a honey, it's always going to be tough for them, because they're always going to have everyone hate them, and they're going to, the other people are going to follow the person they've known for a long while. So that's a bit of a gamble putting the honeys into that ballpark that we did. Anyway, it's resulted in us not being part of the show any longer.
Who's your favourite honey, Mick?
Well, really, if I was to pick a favourite out of all my honeys, I would probably get chased out of time by the other 11 honeys. But yeah, of course you have your favourites, like friends. Who's your friends? I've actually got to be. A few of those girls are my friends. Because we go on events, we go on PAs. We're in a minibus and we're travelling somewhere. You get to know these people, and some of these girls are married with children. That doesn't come across on any TV screen that people have seen. Some of these are mums, and I can relate to that, being a father, and not a mum but a father. And so yeah, you do get to like people. So are you going to get out of me who's my favourite honey? Sam's my favourite.
Do you want to know who my favourite is? I'm going to whisper it to you. I'm going to whisper it to you, so you can't repeat it, because they'll get on my case over it as well.
What one? Oh yeah, mine as well.
They're going to watch, all the girls, listen girls,
With my face watching your lip read, then it must have been classic. I go, what?
girls, if you're listening.
Don't say that.
Ah.
No, sorry, Amy, it wasn't you. I just.
I don't know, listen.
Glover is beautiful.
Emma Glover.
Lovely, lovely lady.
But then again, some days I think Jess, some days I think Hannah.
They're all fantastic girls. They really are fantastic girls.
Sometimes I think Zoe.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you as well, all this started out, I can remember meeting Hannah after Ascot in here one night, first time I ever met her. She's obviously from the Playboy Mansion. She's the painted lady in the Playboy Mansion. She knows Hef very well and she knows the setup. And we got drinking one night with some of her friends in here, and we had a bit of an extended evening. We ended up back at our house with loads of friends. And I can remember having a deep conversation with Hannah, and it was about the idea of the honeys that I had. Not the honeys at the time, because I never had that name, but about the idea that I had, and I didn't at the time make the similarities, but she was so supportive of it, and ironically she's a honey now, but she was so supportive of what we wanted to do, that really I suppose she's instrumental to where we are today because of the support she gave me. And yeah, she said, you know, you can do that, you could pull that off, it would work for the brand, it's fantastic. And it does work, regardless of what people see on TV or what they hear, it works, it's good for the business.
All right, well listen Mick, thank you for talking to us, even though this is your thing as well, so you're just really thanking yourself, or I'm thanking you. Moving forward with Sugar Hut TV, like I said, this is the introduction. It had to be with you, because you are the king of this castle. So, but moving forward, it's not just celebrities and the honeys and everything. Sugar Hut TV is going to interact with your customers, people that come here. You know, when we're away from the Sugar Hut as well, it's going to have the whole shebang, if you like. To get everyone involved. I don't want a channel that sits there where people are watching things and thinking great, but really wanting to be involved in it. You know, we've never really done that with iFilm London, and that's something we're going to work on. In the boxing side of it is to get fans involved in what we're doing, because they're the ones that watch our things, ultimately contributing to the success of the thing. So that's the plan from my half. I know it's the plan from your half. So let's see if we can make this work, Michael.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we had that conversation, didn't we? That it's so important, I think, to interact with our customers out there that have made the effort to travel here. And when I say here, it's at a club of a night time where we are this evening, but by day as well, to come into the coffee shop. And sometimes they might be a bit too young, or with mothers with children that can't come and have the nightclub experience, but they can come and experience a coffee shop. So we might be able to catch people by day. But yeah, it's mega important, I think, to be in touch with their customers and get their feedback, and knowing that they can be on Sugar Hut TV, and hopefully they can tell their friends and they might want to come and be on Sugar Hut TV also.
All right then, well we'll leave it there. We're going to carry on with our night here at Chic. Right, this has been Coogan Cassius with Micky Norcross here at the Sugar Hut for Sugar Hut TV with iFilm London. Stay tuned, thank you very much.